how that if you're drifting into heavy drinking, or you're an alcoholic, or you're just feeling a little bit out of it at the moment, well, listen to this, because this is going to happen to you if you continue drinking. And it's really about isolation and loneliness, and how the days drag, and how the night times in particular drag. Because night times for me were pretty desperate, really, to be fair. At least during the day, there's some activity around, even if you don't get out very much. You know, at least it's light at some part of the day. But night times, I'm going to take you through a typical night when I'd been up since about maybe lunchtime. Gets to 5 o'clock, I should have had a few drinks, and I would force myself to go out. Even though I was really weak, I'd lost a lot of weight, felt grubby, felt very down, very, just full of remorse, I suppose, and thoughts of where's my life gone, and why has it been like this, and all this sort of self-pity nonsense, which is no good for you. So I used to use a local taxi firm. The pub was only about a mile away, maybe less than that, to be honest. I could walk it now in a few minutes. I couldn't really even get out, to be fair. I had to force myself. I had to get the taxi driver to pull up in the middle door of the block of flats where I was in. So it wasn't a very long walk, and I used to sort of stagger a little bit. I wasn't drunk. I was just so weak, and I was ill. You know, it wasn't a question of having lots of drink and falling over. I was just so ill. But I felt this mental need to get out and see somebody, because I've always been a very sociable person, you know. And the taxi driver was always the same guy, because I used the same firm. I didn't have to tell him where I was going. It just picked me up, and that was it. It became a very regular thing. And some of them now say, God, I would hardly recognise you, you know, you're so well now compared to where you were 5 years ago. So I'd get the taxi down. It was always hard for me to get out. I think it was always hard for me to get out of the taxi. Quite tall, and my legs were so weak. And someone used to help me out. And it was picked up, I had 3 steps up it, and I always used to struggle to get these 3 steps. And one day particularly, I remember I was feeling very, very weak, and I had to cling onto the handrail at the side, like a disabled person's handrail. And I'm thinking, God, it's getting desperate. So I walked into the bar, I wasn't that busy, and I looked to the right, and just got my friends there, and I felt so dizzy and weak, I couldn't even make it to the bar. So I sat down and said, can you get me a couple of drinks, in which they did. I always carried this black rucksack to get supplies with. I had some supplies in the flat, but I had this anxiety that I'd run out. And so I used to say to this one guy, do you mind this neighbour next door? It was one of these, like, it wasn't off license or a general store thing, it was open till late, 10 o'clock I think. I said, give me a couple of bottles of beer, and get me some cans of beer. I used to drink Stella, 8 cans of Stella or something. And he said, have you not got any in your house? Oh, I've got plenty in the house, but I need some more. And I was weighted down this bag, you know, I would carry it sometimes. So he'd get me a couple of drinks, and I couldn't go to the bar, I was so weak. At that point, I'd been drinking strong lager for years. Never touched spirits or wine. And I got a couple of pints of Guinness, and he kept saying, have you been to the doctors? Have you been to the doctors? Because he knew I had issues with the alcohol. I looked ill. I got to the point where I started asking people, do I look ill? Because I got so used to myself being so thin, goned, and looking really bad. Anyway, I had this huge distended stomach, which I later found was fluid, ascites fluid, and a bad infection, spontaneous bacterial peritonitis infection. And all this was caused by the liver not working properly. The liver was failing, to be fair. When you're ill, that ill, you put off seeing the doctor, you know. And all these people said, you should get the doctor, I didn't have the strength to get the doctors, to be honest. I was frightened I wouldn't make it, I would collapse or something. All these mad thoughts go on in your head, you know. You feel like you can't get out, you've got to have help, and you don't get the right help. There is help out there, you've got to push it a little bit though. You've got to help yourself as well sometimes, not just lie around and keep pouring the drink in your mouth. When you get past that point, you become, it disabled me, mentally and physically. So I'd sit down 2 or 3 pints in the hope I'd feel better. Because you know, when you're younger, you have a few pints, you feel that warmth, that glow, that euphoric feel of, oh, I've got a few drinks and everything's getting a bit better, a bit louder, a bit brighter. When you're an alcoholic, everything is, you're very sensitive to every noise and every change of light, and every person shouting, every person laughing, any doors banging, that sort of thing. I was a bit of a nervous wreck, to be fair. So I'd have a few of these drinks, and then I'd ring up a taxi firm and pre-book it for 11 o'clock. I always used to wait at the last minute to go. And then I used to stand outside, sometimes it was freezing cold, you know, and wait for this taxi. when it was icy, it was even worse. I couldn't walk really, and I had to get the taxi driver to walk over to me and help me in the car. I was only 57 at the time, you know. And get back in the car. It was dark obviously by then. Get back to the flats, and the flats were just deadly silent. Again, middle door. I used to sort of pad my way along the wall like that to get into the flat. And once I got in the flat, I felt safe. I always felt vulnerable when I was out and about then. Very vulnerable. I don't know what's going to happen to me. But your mind plays tricks on you. And you go into the flat, and at the time I had rats, would you believe? There was always rats running around, rat mess and stuff. I had to clean all that up, which is hard. That was a different story. But the loneliness aspect of it, so I had this radio I used to put on, and it was Talk Sport or 5 Live or something I used to put on and get some more cans, and that was about midnight by then. I hadn't really had anything to eat. I used to try and force some cheese or something down me. I used to sit on the side of the bed, basically all night, lonely, couldn't ring anybody. Nobody ever rang me. TV was broken, no hot water. And the night times went on and on and on. When you sort of look at the clock, it was 1 o'clock. God, I wish it was 6 o'clock. Then it was 2:30, and then I'd maybe just drop off to sleep and wake up at 3:30 again. Then I'd have to have another kind of beer and try and get myself to the loo and all that, and backwards and forwards, and everything was good. By the time the rats had come out again, I used to sometimes hear the rat traps clack. Another rat. And those I had to empty myself because the pest control people wouldn't come in the afternoons when I was up there. I just wanted to be in there early morning. That was another problem. I was living obviously with vermin then. I was living worse than living on the streets in some ways, to be honest. So we'd get to 3 o'clock and I'd have another couple of drinks and then fall asleep again, 4 o'clock, 4:30. I was just going like that all night. And I used to feel so lonely, and I felt like, what am I going to do to get out of this? I mean, should I commit a crime? Should I get arrested? I knew all police stations had nurses and had doctors visiting. Can I get any help? Because I couldn't get any medication from the doctor. And I didn't have the strength to get back to the doctors again. But all I had from my parents was, cut down, stop drinking, cut down, stop drinking. But lost contact a little bit with my daughter. She's more or less gave up with me. My sister had given up with me years before. That was for a different reason. But the only people I had to talk to really were the guys in the pub. And I used to text one lad about 7 o'clock in the morning, because he used to get up early. And that was my day again. But the night times I used to drag, and I felt so lonely, so desperate. And I'm amazed I've got to this point of health and well-being, mentally, really, and physically. Because where I was really rock bottom and beyond. And all that had been caused by having one drink after an 8-year spell of being sober. Because this withdrawal symptom thing comes back like a train, you know. And once you've relapsed, every time you go back on the drink again, it's much, much worse. And the last time I did it, in 2014, it was 100 times worse than the 8 years previous. And that's what nearly killed me. You be very careful of the relapse. Very careful at night when you're thinking about these, maybe you have dark thoughts and things, about what you're going to do and where you're going to get help. And such. Like, you've got to get on the phone. And in the end, I had to, a few weeks later after that, the same routine every day, every night. I actually, one of the lads in the pub, he said, if you don't ring the hospital, then I will. And I thought, well, next day I got up and had a few cans of Stella, actually. And then around 999, and then I was taken in 2019, and I was in hospital for nearly 2 years. Nearly died, and all, there's other videos about what happened to me. But the loneliness is probably one of the major factors for me, and I just couldn't break out of that cycle. It's a very desperate place. If you're in that place, seek some help. Get on the comment section to me. There's an email address in my profile as well. Speak to me, speak to somebody there. There's 10,000 of us now who have all been through similar experiences. I had experiences of alcohol abuse and addiction, whatever you want to call it. Basically drinking too much and getting in a mess. That's what it is, in layman's terms. Drinking too much, getting in a mess, all sorts of mess. And don't do it in isolation. I tried to, and nearly killed me. You've got to do it as a bit of a team effort, really. And speak to people who are alcoholics, because only they'll know how you feel. Medics are brilliant. They can stitch you up and fix you, give you medication. It's only an alcoholic who knows how you feel. Trust me on that one. And I wish I'd sought help earlier. And I wish you all the best. If you benefit from the channel, then please subscribe and share it, because there are millions of people out there struggling. And drop me a comment whenever you want. And if you have any subjects that you want me to cover, then let me know, and I'll speak to you all soon.